Though it's Tuesday, I am doing my Word of the Day Wednesdays because I dropped the ball and didn't do it last week and didn't realize it until I was scheduling my email for tomorrow. So we're going to do our Word of the Day Wednesdays, and I'm going to just give you a little synopsis of my last blog, Gaining Visibility. And I'm also going to be traveling tomorrow, so I'm going to couple it with the blog that I released. I released yesterday called Finish Strong. So my dog niece is in the background with her new squeaky toy that I got her for Christmas. I am very tempted to hide this toy because I did not think about how annoying it could get. So please bear with us as she's playing with her toy. And I am dog sitting right now, so she gonna be in the mix. So the last blog, and as you guys know, I am author Nicole D. Miller, and every week I piggyback off of my latest blog. But as I mentioned before, since I dropped the ball the previous week, I'm gonna do a 2-for-1 special. So the last blog that I did post was Gaining Visibility. And this blog was basically a testimony because you guys know I have been on the grind, I have been hustling, I have been doing all the things with my writing career. And one of the biggest things that I had to learn about becoming an indie author, a known indie author, is marketing, right? So even though my undergrad is in marketing from Miami University, shout out to all the Miami alum, even though my undergrad's in marketing, I didn't have any experience in marketing. And when I was getting my degree back in the day, they didn't have programs geared towards entrepreneurship. So much of what I've learned being an entrepreneur and being an indie author has been life experience. So one of the goals in the last 2.5 years of becoming serious about my career is branding. And is visibility, right? So I've learned so much and I'm still learning about marketing, branding, and promo. But the awesome thing is I can see a mile marker in my journey of finally gaining a level of visibility. So I talk about that in my blog. I talk about how people have been coming to me to seek my expertise or to be a part of what I'm doing. And one of those opportunities I had was actually connecting with a Baldwin Wallace College student where I actually got my MBA. So shout out to all the WdW alumni as well. And it was really dope because I got to have a conversation with her where she had questions, because she knows she wants to be a writer but doesn't know where to start. Writing is such a wide field. And my story is very unorthodox because I did not go to school for writing, creative writing, journalism, English, communications, nothing that's in the field of writing. I went for business, yet discovered this passion for writing, this gift of writing along the way. And so much of what I've learned has been self-taught, and it's been through writing groups and workshops and honing my craft. So I was able to encourage her that she didn't have to have the plan figured out. I'm a huge planner. Life never goes according to plan for anybody, especially those of us who are planners, right? So I was able to give her that encouragement. Another opportunity that kind of sought me out was when I had my last Girl Talk event. And the significance of Girl Talk is that it was in person. So we've been doing this online for 2 years, a year and a half. And everyone was like, in person. So we did the in person. The dope thing about that is people were seeking me for vendor opportunities. So it was a moment for me to be like, oh, okay, I am visible. People are seeking me out based on what I'm doing. So another opportunity that came that showed me I was visible was having my book featured in the Cleveland magazine. So there's an article called 61 Books that basically dropped in 2023, and my book, When Love Wins, was one of them. And that was dope because you cannot be known unless you're found. And so someone had to find me to feature me. And so I just wanted to share these things as encouragement. Sometimes we're on the grind and we're looking and like, oh, when am I going to get to the finish line? But there's all these mile markers along the way. So if you want to check out Gaining Visibility, go to NicoleDMiller.com. All right. So the last post that I just released, and I actually released it Sunday because Christmas was Monday, and I'm like, okay, nobody's about to be reading my blog on Christmas Day. They got kids, they got family, they got life. So I actually released it on Sunday, and it was really another take at my journey of seeing how the Father has positioned me by the end of 2023. One of the things that's been on my heart is looking back. Like last year, this time last year, where was I? And comparing it to where I am this year. And just seeing the elevation, seeing the growth, and just really understanding like I'm getting positioned for the new. Now, one of the ways I feel like I finished strong this year was seeing Girl Talk manifest in person, and these women that I've connected with over the last 2 years coming together, having their own connections, and just seeing it organically flow. So that was a huge accomplishment. Another thing was an interview that I got to have with an abductor from Cleveland, Ohio called Michelle Knight. She goes by Lily Lee Rose now. And that interview was really powerful. And if you know her story or anyone's story like hers, then you know it was very traumatic, and she already had a really difficult life before then. And so sitting there and getting to talk with her and connect with her for a piece that I'm working on was monumental, and just really showed me, I know where I'm headed in my career, but also just the level of care and empathy that's needed and tact that's needed for that type of piece. But, you know, one of the things that I'm seeing is how we are all connected, right? So if everyone is connected, then that means anything can happen in your journey here. So you can connect with any person that's on your heart to connect with. It's just about purpose. And the thing is, connections are great, but divine connections are vital for purpose. And I can see my story starting at Miami University, these divine connections that I made 20 years ago with these women who became best friends and sisters, and we made covenant relationships together. And so I'm so blessed with that, and then adding to it with all of these amazing other women I've connected with, right? So I can just see the need for us to be positioned for purpose and to make divine connections. So that's what I talk about in the blog. I encourage you guys to look at your this time last year status and compare it to where you are this year, because I really think you'll see the growth. And if there were some hard things that happened and some pitfalls that happened, just know every season is working for the good. And that's something that I've had to learn. Some seasons take a while to recover from. I feel like the transition of my mom has taken years to recover from, but it's not about perfection, it's about progress. And understanding that all of those hard seasons are even worked for the good by the divine, by the creator, by our Father. So check out my blog at NicoleDMiller.com. Winding down the end of this year, there's some things I feel like that are on the horizon that I am getting positioned for. I got to meet with a dear friend who's a mentor in purpose. And it's funny, I usually call her a writing mentor, but I think I'm going to call her like a purpose mentor, because so much of our journeys were very similar. And she's further along in the faith and older and has a lot of life experience and wisdom. And in talking to her, and that was such like a dynamic meeting that was not on my plan, and I can just see how God is showing me to be uncomfortable, and that in being uncomfortable, like I'm relying on him and he's moving. So in connecting with her, it was such life-giving fellowship and encouragement about hearing his voice and his plan and the prophetic, especially going through hard things and understanding that those hard things are your story. And I did release a guest blog post at moslere.com if you want to check it out. about telling your story and how we all have a story. And sometimes we minimize our story, or we don't think anyone cares about our story, or we're afraid to tell our story. But the power in storytelling, really, you just can't even minimize it, because you don't know the connections that it will bring in your life. You don't know who is depending on hearing your story for them to make it through theirs. Even talking to Michelle Knight was eye-opening, and that's one of her motivations for sharing her story, is so that others can be motivated. And I definitely am encouraged and motivated through what she's been through to be like, okay, Nicole, you can get through this. So just understand there are people attached to your story. And even looking at being at Girl Talk, and I share this, and you can check it out on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe. But even being on Girl Talk, I had this moment with the women where I'm sharing with them these dark days, and how I couldn't see purpose. I couldn't see, why was I here? And then learning that these women were on the other side of that. Purpose was on the other side of that. So if you can just push through those dark days, and I know that the holidays can be a mixed bag. I love celebrating. I love my people. I love Christmas decorations and doing all the things, but it's been a difficult time for me since my grandmother transitioned, because she was like the backbone of our family, and she was like my home and my peace. And so it was just kind of like a fight since then. And then, of course, took a whole nother level of fight after my mother's transition. But what I can say is, if you can push past the dark days, the dark thoughts, you cannot even imagine what is on the other side. Like, it will blow you away. And that honestly makes me remember a word that my purpose mentor gave me. And now I'm wondering if I can find it. I think it's Amos 13:9. Let's see if I can find this passage, because I loved reading it in the Message version. It is Amos 9:13-15. Yes, indeed, it won't be long now. God's decree. Things are going to happen so fast, your head will swim. One thing fast on the heels of the other. You won't be able to keep up. Everything will be happening at once. And everywhere you look, blessings. Blessings like wine pouring off the mountains and hills. I'll make everything right again for my people Israel. They'll rebuild the ruined cities. They'll plant vineyards and drink good wine. They'll work their gardens and eat fresh vegetables. And I'll plant them on their own land. They'll never again be uprooted from the land I've given them. God, your God, says so. There is so much in that passage. And what I take from it is the Father's promises to give us blessings upon blessings. I think of Job's story in the Bible and how he had all of these atrocities and negative things happening back to back to back. I think of Michelle Knight's story, and I think the same thing. But it's like, that's the enemy's plan, but God's plan is blessings upon blessings upon blessings, one after the other to overtake you. And even though the scripture is promising this to Israel because we're engrafted in his covenant promise, that scripture is for us as well. And I see ownership. I see him saying that I will plant you in your own land. That's ownership. That's businesses. That's owning property. That's generational wealth and legacy. So I want to give that to you guys as it was given to me. And I hope that you're able to finish the year strong, to position yourself to receive a blessing in this next season. And even if you're in a difficult season, to push through and know that if you can just get on the other side, it will be more than worth it, and that God will blow you away. Thank you guys for listening. Please tap in at NicoleDMiller.com. Make sure to subscribe to my newsletter. There will be upcoming events, more announcements. I plan on going to the next level this new year, so stay tuned.